There was a time when Friday nights meant one thing: racing down dusty back roads in a bright orange Dodge Charger, dodging crooked sheriffs, and laughing alongside a family that felt like your own. The Dukes of Hazzard wasn't just another TV show. It was a ritual, a shared memory for millions. But have you ever wondered what happened to the stars who brought Hazzard County to life? Some soared to new heights, others faced trials no script could soften, and a few are no longer with us. From Bo and Luke to Boss Hogg and Daisy Duke, the real-life stories behind the cast will surprise you, move you, and yes, make you do a double take. So buckle up. This isn't just a trip down memory lane. It's a full-throttle ride through time. When the Dukes of Hazzard burst onto the screen in 1979, few could have predicted it would become one of the most beloved shows in American television history. Set in the fictional Hazzard County, Georgia, it followed the misadventures of the Duke family, Bo, Luke, Daisy, and Uncle Jesse, as they navigated life, lawmen, and all manner of mayhem behind the wheel of their iconic car, the General Lee. But beyond the stunts and the laughs, what truly made the show endure was its cast, a colorful collection of talents whose real lives mirrored the drama and emotion they brought to the screen. Let's begin with John Schneider, the golden-haired heartthrob who stole America's heart as Bo Duke, the charming, reckless, and fiercely loyal cousin who tore across Hazzard County in the General Lee. Schneider was just 18 years old when he auditioned for the role in 1978, famously lying about his age and putting on a Southern accent so convincingly that the producers believed he was a good old boy from Georgia. In truth, he was born in Mount Kisco, New York, far from the dusty backroads of the fictional Hazzard. But what he lacked in authenticity, he made up for with raw charisma. His performance, equal parts swagger, innocence, and grit, quickly made Bo Duke a television icon and catapulted Schneider into stardom. For 7 seasons and 147 episodes, Schneider embodied the rebellious spirit of the American South. Fans adored his on-screen chemistry with co-star Tom Wopat, his daredevil stunts, and his unshakable love for family. But when the show ended in 1985, Schneider faced the crossroads that many young stars encounter. Instead of vanishing into the footnotes of TV history, he pushed forward, deliberately and with grit. He took on guest roles in popular shows like Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, Diagnosis, Murder, and Touched by an Angel, steadily building a reputation as a dependable, multi-dimensional actor. Then, in the early 2000s, a new generation was introduced to John Schneider through Smallville, the hit CW series chronicling Clark Kent's formative years. As Jonathan Kent, Schneider brought quiet strength and moral clarity to the role of Superman's adoptive father, delivering some of the most emotionally resonant performances in the series. His portrayal helped anchor the show's earlier seasons and proved that he was more than a nostalgic figure. He was an actor with lasting power. Yet behind the scenes, life was not always kind. Schneider's first marriage to Tawny Elaine Godin ended in divorce after several years. In 1993, he married his second wife, Elvira Ellie Castle, with whom he had 3 children, including his daughter Karis and his stepdaughter Mandy. That marriage ended in a highly publicized and financially draining divorce in 2019. The legal battles over spousal support left Schneider financially strained and even briefly jailed for failing to pay court-ordered alimony, an episode he later spoke about candidly, describing it as both humiliating and clarifying. But the deepest wound came in 2023, when he lost his third wife and creative partner, Alicia Alain, to cancer. Alicia had been not only his spouse, but also his producer, manager, and collaborator in a series of independent films they created together under their company, Maven Entertainment. Her death at just 53 devastated Schneider, who turned to social media to express his grief with heartbreaking honesty. "This is a pain like no other," he wrote in a tribute post that went viral among fans and fellow actors alike. His openness about mourning and his continued advocacy for cancer awareness made him a symbol of resilience and authenticity. In the face of loss, Schneider chose to keep creating. He continued writing and producing films, many of which centered on themes of faith, redemption, and the human condition. He also remained deeply connected to his music career, having released over a dozen country albums throughout the decades. His 2021 album, Truck On, reached the top of the iTunes country charts, and his follow-up, Southern Ways, showcased his enduring love for the storytelling traditions of Southern music. Schneider has also remained a fixture at fan conventions where he connects with generations of Duke's admirers, some of whom watch the show with their grandparents and now bring their own children to meet him. He frequently shares memories of the show, often emphasizing its family-friendly values and how it brought people together across backgrounds and generations. Now, in 2025, at age 65, John Schneider stands as one of the few actors from that era who has not only endured but evolved. Whether on screen, in the studio, or standing before a crowd of fans in a cowboy hat and boots, he continues to radiate the same energy that made Bo Duke a household name. But today, there's more gravity behind the grin, more depth behind the mischief. Schneider's legacy is no longer just about the boy who outran the law. It's about the man who kept moving forward, even when life hit the brakes. Then there's Tom Wopat, the Wisconsin-born actor and singer who gave life to Luke Duke, the more level-headed, strategic counterpart to Bo's impulsive spirit. Calm under pressure yet quick with a plan, Luke Duke was the brains of the operation in the Dukes of Hazzard, and Tom Wopat's grounded, magnetic performance gave the character quiet authority. But Wopat's journey didn't begin in Hazzard County. Before he ever set foot in the General Lee, he had already made a name for himself in the world of musical theater. Raised on a dairy farm in Lodi, Wisconsin, Wopat developed his love for music and performing at an early age. He studied music at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and honed his craft on the stage, where his baritone voice and commanding presence earned him consistent praise. His transition to television was seamless, and his work on the Dukes of Hazzard brought him national fame. Yet, even at the peak of his TV stardom, Wopat never turned his back on the stage. After Dukes wrapped in 1985, he returned to Broadway, starring in musicals such as City of Angels, Guys and Dolls, and Chicago. His most celebrated role came in the 1999 Broadway revival of Annie Get Your Gun, where he starred opposite Bernadette Peters. His performance as Frank Butler was met with critical acclaim and earned him a Tony Award nomination for Best Actor in a Musical. That same year, he was also nominated for a Grammy for the cast recording. Wopat's rich voice and jazz sensibilities made him a natural fit for musical theater, but they also launched a solo recording career that spanned multiple genres. From pop standards and show tunes to blues and jazz, he released over 10 studio albums throughout his career, including The Still of the Night, Consider It Swung, and I've Got Your Number, each blending classic arrangements with his laid-back vocal style. In 2014, he even teamed up with John Schneider to record a Christmas album titled Home for Christmas, offering nostalgic renditions of holiday favorites that delighted longtime Dukes fans. However, not all chapters of Wopat's story were charmed. In 2017, while rehearsing for a production of 42nd Street in Massachusetts, Wopat was arrested on charges related to inappropriate behavior. The incident made national headlines and shook his reputation. Rather than retreat from the spotlight, Wopat issued a public apology, entered a rehabilitation program, and began the long process of regaining the trust of both the public and his colleagues. He later pleaded guilty to reduced charges, accepting legal consequences and acknowledging the impact of his actions. Despite the personal and professional turbulence, Wopat didn't disappear. Instead, he leaned into redemption through music and storytelling. He continued touring intimate venues, performing cabaret-style shows where he mixed Broadway hits with jazz standards and shared personal anecdotes with his audience. In interviews, he has spoken candidly about accountability, sobriety, and growth, revealing a man who, like Luke Duke, values integrity and second chances. As of 2025, at age 73, Tom Wopat remains active in both the entertainment and music worlds. He recently starred in the County Line series of TV movies, playing a rural sheriff, an ironic twist for the former outlaw of Hazzard County. For fans, Wopat is more than just Luke Duke. He's a testament to the enduring power of reinvention and the belief that even when life goes off track, you can still find your way home. Denver Pyle, who brought Uncle Jesse Duke to life with unmatched warmth and dignity, was far more than a character actor. He was a cornerstone of classic American television. Long before the Dukes of Hazzard ever aired, Pyle had already built an impressive career spanning decades. Born on May 11, 1920, in Bethune, Colorado, Pyle was the son of a farmer and seemed destined for a simple rural life. But his path took a turn when he left the University of Colorado to pursue a career in entertainment after serving in the U.S. Navy during World War II. His acting journey began humbly, taking on uncredited parts in the late 1940s and early 1950s, but it wasn't long before he became a recognizable face in every American household. Pyle became a staple in the golden age of Westerns, appearing in iconic series such as Bonanza, Gunsmoke, The Rifleman, and The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp. He portrayed a wide range of roles, from lawmen to outlaws, and even shared the screen with John Wayne in films like The Horse Soldiers and The Alamo. One of his most memorable early roles was as Briscoe Darling on The Andy Griffith Show, where he played the gruff but lovable mountain man with comedic brilliance. This versatility made him an ideal choice for Uncle Jesse, the wise, weathered patriarch of the Duke clan who served as the show's moral compass. In The Dukes of Hazzard, which aired from 1979 to 1985, Pyle's portrayal of Uncle Jesse stood out as the emotional anchor in a series otherwise known for slapstick humor and high-speed chases. With his long beard, overalls, and firm but gentle presence, Uncle Jesse embodied integrity, loyalty, and old-school Southern values. His role wasn't just to offer guidance to Bo, Luke, and Daisy. It was to represent a kind of honest decency that viewers could look up to. And Pyle didn't just act. He contributed behind the scenes as well, directing multiple episodes and becoming a respected voice among the cast and crew. Off-camera, Denver Pyle was equally fascinating. A private man who preferred quiet over glitz, he invested his earnings wisely, most notably in oil drilling ventures during the 1970s. These investments paid off handsomely, reportedly making him a millionaire many times over, far exceeding anything he earned from acting. But wealth never changed him. Pyle remained humble, generous, and deeply rooted in his values. He donated to children's charities, supported veterans, and funded scholarships for underprivileged students. Tragedy struck in 1988 when his beloved wife, Marilee Carpenter, passed away after a battle with cancer. The two had been married since 1955, and her death left a deep emotional scar. Despite his grief, Pyle continued to work, making guest appearances on shows like Dallas, Murder, She Wrote, and L.A. Law. He stayed active until the mid-1990s, even while battling his own health issues. On December 25, 1997, Christmas Day, Denver Pyle passed away in Burbank, California, at the age of 77 due to complications from lung cancer. In a poetic and poignant twist, his final public appearance had occurred just 2 weeks earlier, when he was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He arrived in a wheelchair, frail but beaming with gratitude, surrounded by family, friends, and fans who cherished his legacy. Sorrell Booke, who brought the flamboyant, scheming, and unforgettable boss Jefferson Davis Hogg to life on The Dukes of Hazzard, was a man of extraordinary depth, far removed from the bumbling, cigar-chomping caricature he so hilariously portrayed. Born on January 4, 1930 in Buffalo, New York, Booke was a child prodigy who began performing in radio dramas at the age of 9. By the time he graduated high school, he was fluent in 5 languages, including French, Russian, Japanese, Spanish, and Italian, and later added more to his repertoire. A brilliant academic mind, Booke attended Yale University, where he graduated magna cum laude, and then went on to earn a master's degree in dramatic arts from Columbia University. While many of his contemporaries focused solely on Hollywood fame, Booke's foundation was rooted in classical training and literary appreciation. He served as an intelligence officer in the U.S. Army during the Korean War, using his linguistic skills and sharp intellect to support military operations. His acting career spanned stage, film, and television, and included roles on Broadway in productions like Fiorello and Caligula. On screen, he appeared in acclaimed films such as Fail Safe, Slaughterhouse-Five, and The Iceman Cometh, often playing more serious or morally complex characters. Yet, it was his role as Boss Hogg, the corrupt but comical commissioner of Hazzard County, that became his most iconic. Clad in an all-white suit and perpetually plotting, Boss Hogg was an outrageous villain who somehow remained beloved by audiences, thanks to Booke's ability to humanize the role with impeccable comedic timing and theatrical flair. Off-camera, Sorrell Booke was gentle, modest, and deeply private. He had 2 children from his marriage to Miranda Knickerbocker, which ended in divorce in 1973. Colleagues often remarked on the contrast between his on-screen persona and his real-life character. Booke was a vegetarian, a scholar, and a man of quiet kindness. He also wrote essays on literature and art history, indulging his passion for learning long after his Hollywood career had taken off. In the 1980s, Booke was diagnosed with colorectal cancer, a diagnosis he kept largely private as he continued to work on television and in voice acting, lending his talents to animated shows such as The Smurfs and Scooby-Doo. He passed away on February 11, 1994, at the age of 64. Though his time was tragically short, his impact remains enormous. To this day, at fan conventions and in TV reruns, Boss Hogg lives on, not just as a laughable villain, but as a testament to Sorrell Booke's extraordinary talent, range, and unforgettable presence. Catherine Bach, meanwhile, became a pop culture phenomenon as Daisy Duke. With her iconic denim shorts and Southern sass, she became a symbol of female empowerment cloaked in flirtation. But Bach was more than a sex symbol. She was a grounded actress who brought heart and depth to her role. After the show, she starred in African Skies, appeared in Monk, and took on a long-running role on The Young and the Restless. Off-screen, her life was marked by tragedy. She lost her husband in a devastating car accident, and later her partner Peter Lopez died unexpectedly. Bach has since become an advocate for mental health, using her own experiences to help others find light in their darkest hours. Now 71, she remains a beacon for fans of the show, embodying Daisy Duke's strength and spirit in a new, more profound way. Let's not forget Ben Jones, better known as Crazy Cooter. The wild-eyed mechanic was the Duke's loyal ally, always ready to lend a hand, or a getaway vehicle. Jones's story took a remarkable turn after the show. He left acting to pursue politics, winning a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives for Georgia. During his term from 1989 to 1993, he championed rural and agricultural issues, remaining true to his roots. Though he stirred controversy in 2015 for defending the Confederate flag on the General Lee, Jones remained unapologetically committed to his views. Now 83, he splits his time between writing, running Cooters, a chain of Dukes-themed museums and stores, and attending fan conventions. Through it all, his passion for the show and its fans has never dimmed. One of the most iconic and enduring elements of the Dukes of Hazzard wasn't a character you saw on screen, it was a voice. That unmistakable, laid-back narration belonged to Waylon Jennings, known in the credits as the Balladeer. With his warm Southern drawl and gently humorous tone, Jennings wasn't just telling the story, he was part of the soul of the show. His commentary framed every episode, guiding viewers through the Duke boys' antics with the wry, knowing perspective of a friendly uncle who'd seen it all before. And of course, he was the voice behind the unforgettable theme song, Good Old Boys, which quickly became a hit in its own right, reaching #1 on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart in 1980. Long before his voice became synonymous with Hazzard County, Waylon Jennings had already carved out his place in music history. Born on June 15, 1937 in Littlefield, Texas, Jennings started out as a disc jockey and bassist for Buddy Holly. He famously gave up his seat on the plane that crashed and killed Holly, Ritchie Valens, and the Big Bopper in 1959, a twist of fate that haunted him for years. That tragedy marked a turning point in Jennings' life, fueling his determination to forge his own path. In the 1970s, Jennings helped lead the outlaw country movement, a gritty, raw alternative to the slick Nashville sound. Alongside fellow renegades like Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, and Chris Christopherson, Jennings rejected industry norms, choosing creative control over commercial polish. His landmark albums, Honky Tonk Heroes, Dreaming My Dreams, and Are You Ready for the Country, redefined what country music could be: real, rebellious, and deeply personal. Jennings's association with the Dukes of Hazzard in 1979 was a perfect fit. His music and persona echoed the show's themes of independence, family, and defiance against authority. Even though he never appeared on screen, his presence loomed large, shaping the tone and identity of the series from beginning to end. And unlike many TV theme songs, Good Old Boys wasn't just a catchy jingle. It was a bona fide hit that further cemented Jennings's legacy in popular culture. However, Jennings's life offstage was marked by personal and health struggles. He battled substance dependency during his peak years, eventually overcoming it in the 1980s with the help of his wife, fellow country artist Jessie Cooter. In the 1990s, Jennings faced complications from diabetes, which led to heart problems and the amputation of his left foot in 2001. He continued to record and perform when he could, but his health steadily declined. On February 13, 2002, Jennings died in his sleep at his home in Chandler, Arizona, at the age of 64. His death marked the loss of one of country music's most influential voices. Still, his work lives on, not just in his music catalog, which spans over 60 albums, but in every Dukes of Hazzard rerun where his voice warmly reminds viewers, well, it looks like them Duke boys are in trouble again. Waylon Jennings didn't just narrate a show, he gave it a soul, one that still echoes through American television and music to this day. Among the cast members who joined the Dukes of Hazzard during its turbulent 5th season, Christopher Mayer and Byron Cherry deserve special recognition for stepping into one of the most challenging roles in television at the time, replacing fan favorites. When original stars John Schneider and Tom Wopat temporarily left the show in 1982 due to a high-profile contract and merchandising dispute, producers were forced to quickly recast their beloved Duke cousins. Enter Mayer and Cherry as Vance and Coy Duke, new cousins with similar looks, charm, and a mission to carry on the Duke legacy. Christopher Mayer, born George Charles Mayer III on February 21, 1954 in Manhattan, New York, was 29 when he joined the show. Tall, good-looking, and with a calm presence, Mayer took on the role of Vance Duke with a sincere desire to honor the series. He appeared in 19 episodes during Season 5, doing his best to win over skeptical fans. While ratings dipped during the absence of the original Bo and Luke, Mayer handled the public pressure with grace. After his stint on the Dukes, he appeared in television series such as Santa Barbara, Glitter, and Silk Stockings, and also played a brief role in Liar Liar alongside Jim Carrey. However, Mayer struggled privately with substance abuse and personal setbacks. He was married 3 times, including to actress Eileen Davidson, and had 3 daughters. In later years, Mayer's health declined. On July 23, 2011, he was found dead in his Los Angeles home due to natural causes related to heart disease. He was only 57. Byron Cherry, born April 17, 1955, in Atlanta, Georgia, portrayed Coy Duke, the more impulsive and exuberant of the replacement cousins. Like Mayer, Cherry faced backlash from devoted fans, but he approached the role with energy and optimism. A former model and aspiring actor, Cherry had limited experience before joining the Dukes, having appeared in a guest role on Chips and in commercials. After leaving the show when Schneider and Wopat returned, Cherry's acting career stalled. He appeared sporadically on shows such as Murder, She Wrote, and The A-Team, but Hollywood never fully opened its doors. In the years that followed, Cherry battled alcoholism, a struggle he later spoke about candidly. The pressures of sudden fame, followed by an equally sudden fade from the spotlight, took a toll on his mental and emotional health. With the support of family and close friends, Cherry eventually entered recovery and found new purpose outside of the entertainment world. He launched an event production business in Atlanta and became active in local community efforts, speaking at schools about resilience and the dangers of substance abuse. Now in his 70s, Byron Cherry lives a quiet, content life surrounded by his grandchildren. He still attends Dukes fan conventions from time to time and remains grateful for the opportunity that changed his life, even if only briefly. Both Cherry and Mayer, in their own ways, symbolize the complex nature of fame, its sudden bursts, its high expectations, and the quiet courage required to keep moving forward when the spotlight fades. James Best, the unforgettable face behind the lovable and hilariously inept Sheriff Rosco P. Coltrane, gave the Dukes of Hazzard its comic heartbeat. With his exaggerated facial expressions, signature cuff 'em and stuff 'em catchphrases, and a bark that never quite lived up to his bite, Best transformed what could have been a throwaway antagonist into one of television's most cherished characters. But behind the slapstick, there was a man of remarkable depth, talent, and quiet resilience. Born Jewel Franklin Guy on July 26, 1926 in Powderly, Kentucky, Best was adopted at the age of 3 after the death of his mother and raised in Indiana. During World War II, he served in the U.S. Army Air Forces as a gunner and radio operator, an experience that left him with unspoken scars he would carry for the rest of his life. After the war, Best turned to acting, enrolling at the Actors Studio and beginning a prolific career that would span more than 60 years. Long before donning the sheriff's badge in Hazzard County, Best had a serious and varied acting resume. He appeared in more than 80 television shows and 30 films, including classic appearances on The Twilight Zone, Gunsmoke, Bonanza, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, and The Andy Griffith Show, where he played a memorable musician named Jim Lindsay. On the big screen, he worked alongside legends like Jimmy Stewart in Winchester 73 and Audie Murphy in The Cimarron Kid. Despite the depth of his earlier work, it was Rosco P. Coltrane, with his high-pitched giggle, bumbling police work, and soft spot for his basset hound Flash, that endeared him to a global audience. Best embraced the character wholeheartedly, often improvising scenes and injecting his own sense of humor into the role. Off-screen, he developed a close bond with fellow cast members, especially Sorrell Booke and Sonny Schroyer. After the Dukes of Hazzard ended in 1985, Best didn't retreat from the limelight. He redirected it. He founded the James Best Acting School in Florida, where he taught students the same techniques he had learned from legends like Lee Strasberg. Notable alumni included Quentin Tarantino and Lindsay Wagner. A true Renaissance man, Best also expressed his creativity through painting. His artwork, often depicting southern landscapes and wildlife, was exhibited in galleries and sold to collectors across the country. Best also wrote and directed, including the semi-autobiographical film Hell-Bent for Good Times, and even published a memoir, Best in Hollywood, The Good, the Bad, and the Beautiful, which offered an insightful look at both his Hollywood years and personal philosophies. In his later years, James Best faced recurring bouts of pneumonia, a condition that gradually weakened him. On April 6, 2015, he passed away in Hickory, North Carolina, at the age of 88, surrounded by family. His death was mourned by generations of fans and colleagues who remembered not just the sheriff with the stuttered threats, but the veteran, artist, mentor, and friend who gave everything he had to his craft. To this day, he remains one of the most beloved figures from the Dukes of Hazzard, a man who made us laugh, taught with grace, and lived with purpose. Peggy Rhea, as Lulu Hogg, added layers of warmth and charm to the show. A seasoned character actress, she had roles in The Waltons, Step by Step, and Grace Under Fire. Despite facing discrimination for her body type, Rhea brought undeniable talent and dignity to every role she played. She passed away in 2011 at 89, but not before leaving a trail of laughter and strength behind her. Others, like Rick Hurst as Cletus, Sonny Schroyer as Enos, and numerous recurring and guest actors, also brought Hazzard County to life. Many faced personal struggles, health issues, failed marriages, or career challenges, but they all found something lasting in the community built around the show. Today, even as age takes its toll, many of them still appear at fan conventions, share their memories, and express heartfelt gratitude to the fans who never stopped caring. The truth is, the Dukes of Hazzard was never just about fast cars or wild stunts. It was about family, on screen and off. It was about imperfect people trying to do the right thing in a complicated world. The cast, with all their highs and lows, embodied that spirit in ways few shows ever could. Over 4 decades later, the cast of the Dukes of Hazzard still stirs something deep in fans, a sense of connection, nostalgia, and a longing for stories where good humor and good hearts always win. From rising stars to quiet heroes, the journeys of these actors remind us that life, like a winding Hazzard County road, is full of twists, turns, and the occasional miracle. So now it's your turn. Which member of the Dukes of Hazzard cast left the biggest impression on you, and why? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if this trip through time brought back memories, give us a like, subscribe for more stories like this, and don't forget to share with fellow Dukes fans. Thanks for watching, and until next time, y'all take care.